Hey, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen. I'm Elisa. This is kind of my favorite place to be. It's not too hot yet, and it's kind of quiet. Oh my gosh. Okay, so when I did the split, I got Ace of Swords and Three of Swords. So it's like there's some heartbreaking situation here. There's a message coming in. Oh my gosh. So what I'm kind of getting in the context of this other stuff, so there's like this good news and this wish coming true for one person who's going to have to stand their ground, because this is sort of a turning point. And on the other side of this sort of turning point, we have this sort of stalker kind of energy. And it's like there's these birds, so like this truth, which is interesting because we have the truth here as well. And it's almost like this person is being exposed for something, which is actually good news for someone. They're going to have to stand their ground, but it's also going to be bad news. And since this has to do with some sort of truth coming out, it kind of suggests that this energy has been lying or trying to hide something that's coming out, and that this, whatever this is, has been causing a really great burden for this person whose wishes are coming true by the truth coming out. So this is really interesting. Okay, so when I look at the truth, okay, so what I'm getting, this truth is manifesting like a new foundation for this Empress, who's going to have to draw boundaries around herself, because apparently, there's been all these readings leading up to this about this jealous energy. Like the reading I just did a couple days ago was about staying off the grid and under the radar from some like jealous energy. And that's kind of coming through too. Like this person has this whole new beginning, this abundant new beginning coming through for this Empress, but she has to have boundaries around her foundation, because it's like there's some really jealous, toxic energy also around. So I'm going to go to the Mystical Shaman Oracle. And we'll pick some more cards. But yeah, like this has been kind of coming through. Like there was a reading not that long ago too about like sort of like the mean girls and like sort of like overcoming this sort of mean girls situation. I think that reading was called Revenge of the Nerds. But oh my gosh, so we got two birds here, so that's super significant. I mean, for me, because like what's interesting is, so in the last reading that I did, this helicopter like flew into the reading. And so I've talked about how like helicopters and birds are meaningful for me because my dad. And so it's interesting because there's two birds here. And this morning, while my mom and I were having our tea right here, two helicopters flew over. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is a message. Like he's trying to tell us something. And then we get two birds. But this is interesting because the eagle, so the eagle is sort of like kind of really rising above the fray. There's a reading about rising above the fray. And someone who can like sort of soar over a situation without getting just sort of sucked into the vortex. But then also the eagle has like discernment. Like even though it's flying like super high over the situation, like it can see like a mouse like way down like below, because the eyesight, it has really good discernment, So I mean, I think this kind of speaks to rising above a situation. And then the rainbow speaks to having like sort of like all your chakras in alignment. You've like done all this inner work on yourself. You're in alignment with your highest destiny. And so like you have the wind at your back, like the universe is going to propel you forward. And you have like guidance and protection. So that's really interesting. Oh my gosh. Wow, okay, so like I don't really ever have reversals, but for some reason this lower world is upside down, which I've never even had a single reversal in this deck before, so that's really wild. This really speaks to like healing like an ancestral or, you know, like toxic situation and like having the guidance of your ancestors. So to me it's like an ancestral curse that's sort of being healed here. And we're like sort of like graduating from one cycle of life, because this speaks to this sort of like recurring cycles in life. And it's sort of like when you finally build into your awareness like why some certain situation might be repeating over and over, and like respond differently, like that's when you sort of like graduate out of it. And we have the rainbow. So the universe is like, you know, supporting. The rattle, this is a card of like sort of invoking the power of the universe, co-creating with the universe and co-creating with karma. So it's just sort of like, and then we have the mountain, which speaks to like sort of a spiritual journey. So it's like almost like healing this generational curse has been this spiritual journey. Like maybe it's been carried in your like bloodline for like generations, and so it's been this like really intense situation that's needing to be healed, you know. But it's like by invoking the rattle, it's like the universe has been sort of like almost like what I'm getting is presiding over the situation, because it's like the rattle has a double-edged sword, because it's sort of like if you invoke the rattle and you have bad karma, or you're lying, or you're, you know, like this that can backfire on you, you know. But if you're actually the one that's sort of like telling the truth and in alignment with what's right, like it's actually good. It's just like turbo boost almost, you know. So that's really interesting. And then, yeah, again, like we got underneath the eagle, we got the jaguar, which this speaks to healing the shadow side, healing some sort of generational curse, distortion, and this changing. So this is like really, really profound. I mean, it seems like profound drama is sort of being like invoked, but it's just like this sharp cut. Like it's just like there's just a line being drawn in the sand. The truth is being made just abundantly clear, and things are just gonna change like in an instant. Okay, I'm gonna go to the Light Seers Tarot. But yeah, it's just like really cutting through some sort of, it's like there's been all this like spiritual quest leading up to this, where like it's almost like this Polaroid's been being in development, and like it's like there's these like players, you know, and it's like allowing there to be clarity about the situation and like who's in alignment with karma and who's not, you know. And like now it's like this point right before where it's like there's a total clarity about what's going on, and the sword's just gonna come through and cut it, and like karma's gonna be assigned, and it's just gonna go down, and it's gonna be fast. Okay. All right. So we have the Hermit. So again, another spiritual quest. Like this person had to like climb up this mountain, you know, but they've learned a lot from whatever this journey has been, and it's like triggered some sort of like enlightenment, you know. This person is like moving on from whatever this situation that maybe they've invested a lot in, and it's like there's this light bulb moment. Like this is like this star. Like this person is like come into alignment with like kind of like their 15 seconds, you know. There's this opportunity coming online, and there's a message coming in fast. This is the Knight of Swords, which is gonna like make it clear that this 15 seconds is here, and it's time to leave whatever this curse is in the past. This person has done the work, they've healed, they've drawn enlightenment from the situation, and it's time for them to move on. Okay, so we're gonna go to the Woodland Wardens, and we're gonna pick a couple. We're just gonna do a split here to end the reading. It's just like, oh my gosh, this is like this crazy climax. All right. Okay, well, there's 4 that kind of came out. So we got Modest Fortitude, which came out in the other reading that I just did, where it's just like stay humble, keep moving forward. Like things are gonna work out, but just like don't give up. Like just keep moving forward. But maybe, you know, like there was a reading about staying under the radar. Graceful persistence. You know, we have this hawk. It's sort of like a lot of birds in this reading, you know. Just keep moving ahead because the universe is in alignment. So just don't give up, even though it looks like really crazy right now. Just keep going. Introspection. Take this moment for yourself also, because there is like some profound lesson that's being wrapped up here. And we have deceit. So there is deceit at the root of this situation, and that is what's being healed. So it's like, whoa, this is like really, really intense. But it's kind of like, almost like it's like cleaning up this huge mess and setting it straight. And moving on towards bigger and brighter things. You may be a lucky star. All right, that's it for today.